I am what you call a soggy mom. Think crunchy mom, organic, clean, all natural, granola eating, but a hell of a lot more watered down, if you catch my drift. I love me some Diet Coke, some Botox. I store some food in plastic containers, oftentimes microwave my meals, and I give my kids boxed macaroni and cheese, although sometimes, depending on if there's a sale, I will make sure it's organic. But jokes aside, I try my absolute best to find healthier alternatives and swaps to bring into my household and for my family, and plant therapy has made that incredibly possible. They are your source for affordable, all-natural organic oils and kids-safe products that you can start incorporating into your everyday routines in the easiest and best smelling ways. For me, I ditched the candles and brought in some incredible essential oils that I can diffuse around the house. I replaced my dryer sheets with some wool balls that I drip a little bit of laundry specific oil onto to get that incredible scent. I incorporated new facial serums, new hair care products, and so many other things that we absolutely love around the house. Not only can you access quality reports, but you can get on their website and learn more about where to use, how to use, who to use it with, and how to make sure you are getting the most out of everything that you order. I know for me, being on social media, I see essential oils being marketed and sold in so many different ways from a slew of different companies, and it has made it incredibly confusing as to where to turn. And not only that, it also can be incredibly expensive depending on where you're buying it from. Plant Therapy has no organization that oversees the quality of their essential oils. The terms therapeutic grade is simply a marketing term that a lot of people use to sell their products and make it look a little bit better than the rest. When looking for the highest quality oils, Plant Therapy reminds you not to look for terms like that and instead turn to companies that quality test their products, have reports, and have experts to weigh in. Companies like them. So if you're like me, soggy mom through and through, just hoping to make healthier swaps for your lifestyle and home, check out Plant Therapy today. I cannot recommend them enough. And best of all, they gave me a coupon, Very Merry, for 10% off your order today. I promise you, you will love it and your house will smell amazing. Hi, come on in. And join in. It's the Very Merry Life. Hi, I'm Mary Hendricks, and you might know me as that Relatable AF mama over on Instagram who hopefully feels like an old friend at this point. And if not, it won't be long till it feels that way as we get raw, unfiltered, and very unapologetic in all things motherhood, marriage, sex, and more. From moments worth savoring to moments worth surviving, get ready to leave feeling seen and supported. You have a friend here now, so hey, take a seat. What's going on? All right, let's do it. Actually, if you want to see something funny here, let me see if I have this video. Cassidy. So Kev was away this week and, well, not this week. He was gone earlier this week and then he was just gone from Sunday morning to Monday night. And, he sent me a video when he got there of him dancing with his shirt off and he put the song Pony behind it and Cassidy saw it. So now, here, let me see. It's nothing bad. He's like not naked, but he sent it to me, and then Cassidy keeps watching it. Oh, look. So
listen, you gotta spice things up somehow.
I thought it was hilarious, but Cassidy saw it, and now Cassidy tonight was like talking all about it and saying like, "Daddy, I want you to dance like that again." And he was like, "Absolutely not." And then I took a video. Kevin was like, "I don't want you to post that because people are going to assume it was like something naked." But you just hear Cassidy being like,
"Daddy, why did you do that?" Because it was a special video Daddy sent Mommy.
She's like, "Why do you keep doing that? Why'd you do that, Dad? Why'd you do that? I don't understand, Dad." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet God, here we go."
Curious little minds. Oh, if one day they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they will.
All right. Well, season 2. Episode 2 with you.
Yep.
The Very Merry Life. How are you doing?
Good. Now that it's like out and going, I'm like relaxed. I feel like this past month I was a little like crazy with it and scatterbrained, and now I can like streamline it. I brought on an assistant for my podcast.
Amazing. That'll definitely, I mean, listen, like if you're listening right now, like Mary is like a solo, was like up until now, I guess. one-stop shop kind of woman. Like, you've been doing it all, which I don't know how you manage it with the kids. And
Well, and I pretty much do. Like, I still even do. I have my virtual assistant now helping me with my newsletter. So I have her, and then she'll do like stuff with like SEO and like stuff with my blog. But I'm still going to be writing everything. And even for the newsletter, I still get in there and I tailor. She just kind of does the outline, and then I do all this. Yeah, I do with the saint, like all my saint stuff still, which I forget I still do that, and TikTok. I do all my reels. I don't have anyone else in my DMs. I don't have any, like, I've heard some girls saying like they hire people to come in and like they get in their inbox and then that way they'll answer messages and stuff. I don't want that at all.
I know, I feel like that's so impersonal. I don't know, like, because I do like interacting with followers in my DMs. It is getting overwhelming though, because like it takes me hours to really read through and then conversate with people. So, but I'd rather it be me, because especially if they're directing a question towards you, wouldn't you rather answer it on your own? So
yeah, well, that's my thinking. And I don't know. I know it's hard. Like, and I always say, like, if anyone's ever messaged me on Instagram, like it's hard. There's no way I could keep up. And I used to keep up until I think I hit about like 30,000 followers. And then I couldn't, like, it got impossible and I think what really like threw me over the edge was when we had our babies. Like, I got so many messages and so many comments and things like that. So I don't even know at this point, but it's all about timing. So if you time and I check my phone at that right time and your message gets bumped to the top, it's probably the first 10 messages that I can like quick response. And then the rest are,
I don't want to have to scroll too much.
No, it's all about timing, because if you're at the top, then there you are. And I want to have the conversations. I just can't. I don't have the time. So it is what it is. But
yeah, who has time between children, taking care of a household, nourishing your relationship with your children, nourishing your relationship with your husband, sex, time for everything else in between? I feel like there's just not enough hours in the day ever.
No, well, here, you actually want to know, did I write them down? I hope I wrote these down. I'm actually making a reel at some point for Mother's Day, and the idea behind it is all like facts about moms that you wouldn't know based off statistics. I don't know if I wrote it down, because I was like going through and I like wrote down a bunch of, either did it in here or did it in my, because I was sitting at my computer. So let me look. Or I did it in my notes pad.
You're good. You write things down. That's smart, because I need to start doing that, because honestly, where is my brain? My brain is gone.
Yeah, but that's why I'm like, I have 10 notebooks. So I think I have ADHD, but I probably should get that looked at, but it's fine.
Too many tabs open, right?
Yeah, no. So moms on average get less than 32 minutes total of daily alone time. Total.
So unfair.
And that's just the average. That's the average. And because of that, because parents have such less time to themselves alone, they reported, I think, missing 88% of parents agreed that they can't cook dinners. They rarely ever cook homemade meals because of that. And then only 10% of moms reported getting the recommended sleep that's needed for humans. Moms are spending only 5% of their days doing any sort of self-care on average. That's another stat.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then I think
that's such a low number.
Yeah. I think there was another, God, I wrote down, it might be in my other other notebook, but there was like so many facts about just like what moms go through in terms of like, well, just with like mental health and, like the default. I think that it was like 78, 80% of moms say that they're the default, which I'm surprised that number isn't higher, but nowadays because maybe there's more men at home or whatever, but yeah, no, it's like the stats are insane. And yet we expect ourselves to juggle it all.
And then look pristine at the end of it. Well, I was listening to your podcast about mom guilt, right? And I feel like a lot of that number being like that self-care is so low because mothers innately feel guilty when they're filling their own cup, because there's so much to be done for so many others. So they put themselves at the back burner. And let me tell you, I was there. First baby, right? I was like, I don't know how to manage this. How do I get in the shower? Like, I literally was like, I remember thinking like, I guess I just won't shower for days. Like, I don't know. I have like a screaming, 3-week-old. But once my second came, I was like, fuck that shit. I'm putting myself first because like you said, like people probably ask you, Mary, why do you always put your makeup on in the morning? Because it makes you feel good. Because you feel fulfilled. You can start your day and feel like I did something for me. And you like doing it and you always look beautiful.
Yeah, well, and thank you. And I think the big thing too, especially because we're home, if I want people to view what I do as a job, I want to pretend like I'm at a job. Like I am at a job, but I want to set up that standard where it's like, I think that's why there's been, and again, you could do this however way, but I think that's why we've gotten in the zone of whether we think we are or not. I think we have convinced ourselves that what we're doing isn't deserving of showing up. I don't know how to word that. Like,
no, showing up. Showing up for ourselves.
Yeah. I think we've like tricked ourselves. And I think a lot of us are like, no, we are doing a job. But yet I think overwhelmingly, we still are riding the curtails of this whole notion that being a stay-at-home mom or being a mom is like not an official excuse as a job, if that makes sense. So for me, like I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to view my day as a job. I would get ready to go to an office. I'm going to do the same. So that way, like you dress for success type of thing.
Yeah.
And it really does. And it like helps me respect what I'm doing here a little bit more. Like, I think you enjoy it a little bit more too, when you know that this is like, okay, like this is my purpose.
Well, and you're reaching, it's a purpose. It's a reach. It's, you're doing like a civic duty in some ways to show others that it's okay to let your kids run amok for 15 minutes while you brush your teeth, brush your hair, put a little lipstick on, whatever. And honestly, I mean, it could go either way. Some people love being in PJs all day. Good. Whatever is going to fill your cup, fill it to the tippy motherfucking top, because it's not worth it to not do it for yourself. Life is too short. And eventually your kids are going to grow up and they're going to leave. And then what? Will there be an empty shell? Because I sure as hell don't want an empty shell in 18 to 20 years. Yeah. I'll tell you that, of me, of a human, of myself.
No.
So that's why I do it.
No, and I think that's, I talked about this with, who did I have on? No. Oh, okay. I was a guest on someone's podcast, the Burnt Pancakes podcast. And is that your cat?
Oh yeah.
Is that your cat?
It's my cat. I'm going to have to.
I like it.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up, cat. I mean, as if it's not bad enough. I have 3 kids, a dog, and now I have a goddamn cat. Oh, hold on. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
There you are.
I'm here.
Can you see me?
Good. You're good. Yeah, no. I heard it. I was like, is that a baby or a cat?
She's like, Rawr! I mean, it's like, seriously, like, I can't win. The kids need me. My husband needs me. The dog. And now the goddamn cat. Like, can mama get a goddamn break?
That is all right.
Seriously.
That is all right. Where'd you go? I don't see you.
I'm right here. I'm just texting Bert.
Oh, there you go. Well, okay. How's that going in your arena? How often do you do it? Do you do it on a weekly basis?
I would say yes, only because our children in our room, because my in-laws, unfortunately, their house was flooded in Fort Lauderdale about 3 weeks ago, like completely demolished house. Obviously we were like welcoming them with open arms to our house. Like we have 4 bedrooms. We can definitely accommodate them, but they're sleeping in my kid's bedroom, my boys' bedroom, because they have twin beds, and our 4th bedroom is actually a playroom. So they're sleeping in the boys' bedroom, and the boys are in our bed. So we've had to get extremely creative. And I know I've podcasted you before.
Yeah.
I haven't have sex in my walk-in closet. And it's funny when I was talking about this on stories, how like the kids are on our bed, like where's our sex life? Someone said, what about the closet? And I was like, damn, that's a good follower, because she clearly is listening in. Yeah. And I was like, girl, I can't even step foot in my closet right now. There's still a luggage full of clothing from Disney about a month ago. I'm awful.
I had a follower recently tell me, because I don't know what spurred the conversation, but she told me that her favorite thing is when her husband and her do it on her dining room table.
I mean, I just say,
and I was like,
seriously.
Well, and I was like, whoa, really? And I was like,
that must be a sturdy goddamn dining room table, let me tell you.
Well, that, and if you ever invite me over for If there's one day that ever we connect stronger and you invite me over for Thanksgiving, I might say no. Like,
Yeah. Here's the turkey and here's where my bare ass was as well. Thank you very much.
this is where I sampled the drumstick. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. But yeah.
Well, what about you and Kev? I know you guys are doing Mary, this is momentous. Everyone that's listening,
It's right there.
Mary Hendricks is going out on Thursday evening.
I am. And I actually asked him tonight. I was like, why is this important? Why do we need to go?
Yes.
And he was like, Mary, shut up.
Shut up, Mary. Go and flirt with your husband, damn it. You need this. No, go out. Who has the kids?
My mom and dad.
Perfect.
So,
okay.
And it's going to be interesting because they're going to be in charge of all three. They've never had all three like that long. They'll have to do bedtimes with all three.
Oh yeah. The bedtime thing always is a little hairy scary.
Yeah.
And I feel like for anyone, like even like I have a sitter that comes and watches the boys, but I still put the baby down because I'm like, it could get really crazy.
Yeah. That's where I'm a little like wonky on because Haley has never had anyone other than me put her down. Kev has, but she cried her eyes out. She screamed her face off.
Of course.
So
because she's like, who the hell is this? Like, where's my friggin' mother?
Yeah. I've been working
the thing is, you gotta just
you just got to do it.
Hold your nose and dive.
Yeah, I mean that's literally all it is. It's Band-Aid. You have to rip off the Band-Aid because even with leaving with the babysitter, because Haley right now is stage. I know. Yeah, you said about Bryn. She's stage 5 clinger. She does not like anyone that is not me or Kev, and even then, that's questionable. But we with like our babysitter and stuff like that. And I said this on my stories because I used to work as a babysitter. It always sucked when you were a babysitter when those parents first left. Those kids had a meltdown. And I'm glad I did that and I experienced that because that meltdown only ever lasted for 10 minutes at max.
Exactly. Distraction is key.
Yes. And you just kind of chill out. Like for me, I always would just let them do their thing, but then I would try to like distract them, like you said, and then they would be fine the rest of the time. But the parents were probably being like, oh, I feel so bad type of thing. And I'm glad I witnessed that because now when I leave Haley and I did that for a doctor's appointment with the babysitter and she screamed her face off.
Oh yeah.
But I just left.
And then are you on the text? Like, how is she doing? I'm so sorry. Like,
oh yeah, it was like 10 minutes later and she was smiling. Yeah. 10 minutes later, she was in a swing smiling. And I'm like, oh, there we go. I was like, we're good.
It's 4-hour effect. Like I get it. Like, could you imagine like they lived in our bodies for 9 months. We've nourished them, fed them, every boo-boo, every scrape, we're there for them. And then, mommy and daddy want to go out for a date. And it's like, who the fuck do you think you are? You can't do that. Like,
yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, no. So that's why we just got to rip it off, but she'll be fine. I mean, she likes my mom and dad a lot. So, she'll be
okay. And you chose the dress.
I chose the dress, that black.
Did Kev have any say so in the dress?
No, he's just wearing like a cream colored suit jacket and a black bow tie and black pants. So that's why, like, I was like, that would probably go a little bit better. And it's way more comfortable. The blue dress that I was wearing just was a tad too snug in the hips. Like just
and
enough.
You have to be comfortable.
Yeah. It was enough where I could wear it and be fine, but I could feel it. And I hate that feeling. I want my things to fit me well. So I was like, no. So
also for your debut, I mean, this is like your debut. Haley's what, 13 months?
14
months.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly. So
yeah. I mean, I went away.
A round of applause.
Yeah, I went away we went to New York City. That was like a big outing. I've left the house, but I haven't been out with Kev. We haven't had like a night alone at all.
And this is where we could segue into like marriage and how you have to nourish your marriage.
Well, you have to. And I said to Kev the other day, because we actually were like, we went a while without having sex and you can feel it.
Yep. The tension builds. Oh my God, it builds. That's why I'm like, someone's gonna get fucked tonight because I can't, like, it's usually like when we bicker and I'm like, all right, what's going on? Is it something really important? Like, is there something actually happening? Or do I just need to slob on the knob? I don't know. It's usually the latter. Remember that song?
Yeah. Slob on the knob.
Like, going on the knob.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? The Yin Yang Twins.
Yeah, I love the Yin Yang Twins. That's good one. That's a good one.
I know.
Yeah, no. Ooh, yeah, no. It's hard because you feel the tension build, and finally, like Kev, it's hard. Like, and I said to Kev because I was actually like you get such a rift, not a rift, and we're fine, but like you could tell that you're shorter with each other and you're a little bit more snippy. And finally we rekindled things, and I just laid there afterwards and I was like, we need to prioritize this. Like I don't want that to feel that way. Because I can feel it. And I said, and Kev responded back. He was like, I get it. He was like, but we just like, we're in the little kid years and this is it's a lot. Like we're exhausted and things like that. And I said,
exhausted.
I said, I know we are, but I think we need to like prioritize like one night where we're getting away, where we can like just
like you said, rekindle.
Yeah.
And rekindling doesn't always have to mean physical.
No,
right?
Yeah. No, it's just,
like
it's something that like, because they get the bare minimum of us. Like, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, like, you kind of miss, like, it's okay to miss your relationship before kids.
Yeah.
Because you do. And like, I think I miss it because they're literally getting the tail end of.
Yeah. They're getting the sloppy, like, end of the day. Like, you're tapped out, totally tapped out.
And they don't have us anymore. Like the original us that they met is gone, and whatever resemblance of that is still there. It's not going to be coming out at the end of the day. So like,
don't come at me at like 9 p.m. with googly eyes when I have puke on me, or I've been up Schitt's Creek with literal shit in my hands from kids. Like, and also like, I do think Kev and Keith are similar. Like, they are very patient humans, because I have friends that like their husbands will like, they're like, oh, my husband can't go like more than 2 days without sex. I'm like, well, what kind of marriage is that? Because I mean, there has to be some sort of grace given to mothers and fathers, like any, like working parents, stay-at-home moms. Like, life is exhausting. And if your partner is not being supportive of you, that's when you need to reevaluate things. Because like, never once, maybe once in my whole 13 years with Bird, has he been like, are we ever going to have sex again? And that was when I was like, end of my pregnancy with Bryn.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, oh my God, like, you actually want to have sex with me? Like, I look like Shrek right now.
Yeah.
But like, other than that, he's like always so patient. And what I love about men like that is that there's no pressure. Like, the love is still there. And like, when Keith did say like, are we ever going to have sex again? I'm like, of course we are. But like, I'm in the season of end of pregnancy. Like, everything stinks. I am swollen everywhere. Like, he was like, all right, I get it. So.
Yeah. It's a season. That's exactly what it is. It's just, I think it's a season, and I think you and I talked about it once, and I listened to someone, I think it might've been like a pastor, but he was pretty good. And you talked about it, and he said, like, a lot of us, like, we think of marriage as a contractual basis. We don't think of it as like a covenant or something like that. And obviously it depends on like, but if you think about it, like marriage, if you're marrying that person, you're in hopes of like being like a team. Like, you are
totally a team.
Completely. If you're going to use a different word than covenant, but that he said that, and he was like, we base everything off of a contract. So he said, if someone gains weight, void the contract. If someone stops wanting to have sex, void the contract. If someone gets ill, void like he said, we can't view it like that. And I remember like, I was impacted by that, because I was like, that's a good reminder, not like for both of us, but it's just like, sometimes you do, like, when you're hit a rough patch, you're like, oh, this might be the end of us. And you're like, wait, no, it doesn't have to be. Like, I mean, obviously if things get really bad, but it's just it.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Eye-Opening Moments podcasts are real-life stories of adversity, encounters, and perspectives. They are moments that can lift your spirits, give you some food for thought, or move you. For the introspective mind that likes to reflect, discover, and find solutions or meaning in a complex life, listen to Eye-Opening Moments podcasts.
It's you can choose, like, and I'm approaching 40, and I have about 6 or 7 friends either have recently gone through a divorce or about to go through a divorce. And I literally went on date night last week with my husband, and we were talking about all of our friends that are divorcing, and like, it's just like rapid fire. Like, I mean, I'm telling like you, like every month someone's like, yeah, we're separating. Yeah, we're divorcing. And I'm like, all right, let's not ever let that happen. And why do you think that happened? Like, a lot of it's probably, they should have never married each other to begin with. I think a lot of people marry each other for the wrong reasons, or thinking they're going to get married and change someone, or get married and have a kid and, oh, that'll change things.
No.
But you have, like, the foundation's there, and you have to just, you know, you marry someone, and you don't, it doesn't have to be like the perfect person. I was watching a pod or some sort of reel or something on Instagram, and it said, people think you have to marry the perfect person.
Yeah.
Well, the perfect person doesn't exist. You create that perfect person within your marriage, within your relationship, because it is a team-based kind of experience, right? Yeah. And kids or no kids, if you're listening and you don't have kids, like, you could probably relate to this. Like, it takes both parties to come together and say, hey, let's do something together that's going to make each other feel connected. Yeah. And, you know, there's certain ways, like, and it doesn't have to be sexual, although sex is great. Like, I always feel like, oh, wow, like you just said, like, we need to make this more of a priority. Like,
I think, because well, sex at the end of the day, it's intimate. It's in your, right? Sex, if you think about why sex is important for a couple, it's because you are allowing each other to experience something that no one else can, essentially, which is like a really intimate experience. Like, you're at your most vulnerable during sex. So it's like a really intimate connecting moment for you to like get back to like that baseline. And it's like, I think we just have to like push ourselves out of our comfort zone. If you're not having sex, I would do things that are outside of your comfort zone, and do that. I've heard of like the adventure book. Have you seen that? The adventure book, or like the journal? It's like something.
No, tell me more.
I think it's like challenges. I want to do it there's ones for like in the bedroom, and then there's date night ones that there's like challenges.
Oh wait,
for couples.
can I get this off Amazon?
Yeah, I think it's called, I think it's called the adventure.
I love cutesy things like that, because if either you or your partner are like thoughtless with certain things, like, that's a good guidebook, right? Like, to be like, hey, like, let's see what's in the adventure book.
Yeah, it's like there's one for families. There's family edition, couples edition, and sex edition. Yeah. Oh. So in bed.
I'm always looking for ways to spice things up. As you know, I have a drawer full of toys and lube. So we've already talked about that. If you want to go listen a couple podcasts before this.
I know, I should put up, I actually did a TikTok that like did well over there, and it was like POV, your postpartum mom, and it's like me unloading like the 5 bottles of lube.
I saw it.
Onto the table. I haven't shared it yet on Instagram, because honestly, I'm like, I don't know if I really want this to like
You know, TikTok's such a different universe.
Yeah, I feel like
you can get away with a lot of shit on TikTok.
Yeah, I feel like TikTok, you can just, because so much content's being cranked out over there, that if I create something so stupid like that it's going to get easily forgotten for some reason. With Instagram, I feel like if it's out there and people know me for it, they're gonna remember it forever. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, you're literally one of the most clever humans. Like, I mean, you're a comedian. You know that. Like, you are 1,000,000% a comedian. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, because you're hilarious. And the shit that you create is actually, I'm like, there's Mary's at it again. God damn you, Mary, making it hard for all of us. But honestly, how great that I can like be a witness and be a friend of yours and see so much success from you.
Well, and it's only coming your way. That's why I keep telling everyone to like come and follow you. I like your stories are the most fun for me. I watch them and laugh my ass off.
Thank you. I am a stories queen. Like Mary and I have talked off, you know, when we're not recording, and I'm like, all right, tell me how to get to where you're at. Because I actually do get a lot of questions like, how do I become a creator? I'm like, you just become it. You own it. You try.
I had someone ask me the other day on my Q&A, and they're like, how do I start sharing more? Like, I'm so lost with what to share. I just want to be a relatable mom. And I was like,
authenticity is huge.
But what does that mean? Like, what does relatability mean? And obviously, like, I'm called the Relatable AF mom. And that was like the first, like, I'm the OG. Like, I will claim that, because I remember stewing over what to say, because everyone at the time when I started Instagram was your new BFF or your new mom.
Yeah.
BFF. And I was like, are you new
like,
mom?
I've been here.
Yeah. Your mom, your self-help hype girl was another big one, or like your new bestie, mom bestie, like things like that. And I was like, what do I do? But relatable, I'm like, I don't know what that means, because I think you need to have a good mixture of relatability, and also you want to kind of be unrelatable in life.
Yes.
I feel like you have to have a good dose of being unrelatable in certain things.
I think what sets us apart, like in the same category, is we are unapologetically authentic, where we are going to show the rawness, where I've seen other BFF mom creators that are posting life, but is it real life?
A lot of it, I feel like, is curated at this point.
It's very curated. I'm like, a series of unfortunate events happens like literally every day in my life, in your life, like, and in most moms' lives and most women's lives.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't stand the over curation. Like, I get up at 5 a.m. and run, and then I journal, and then I make my coffee, and then my kids wake up, and then I go for my second run. It's like, are you really doing that every fucking day? Like, get a grip.
Yeah.
And also,
if so, how? Are you okay?
Who are you influencing? Like, and some people like that. Like, they're like, I want to do that. But like, you're going to set yourself, unless you're a very motivated human. I mean, some people really are that way.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm projecting, like, maybe I wish I could be a little bit like that. But I'm here for the realness of motherhood, the tearful side of motherhood. Like, obviously this is Mental Health Week, and tomorrow is Maternal Mental Health Day, May 3rd, if just everyone could put it in their calendar. But if everyone would just be more honest and less judgy, right? Like,
yeah, well, I actually I created a TikTok. I haven't shared it yet, but I was saying, and I was like, something occurred to me today, and I said, no one talks about how unimaginably unequipped parents are for being a parent, and how there are triggers, and how triggering parenthood is, and how there are triggers, trauma, and reactions that you will never anticipate until you are literally in the shoes of a parent. And
no one ever told me, hey, Katie, at 5 p.m., your kids are going to be loud as fuck, and they're going to trigger the shit out of you. You're going to want to put shards of glass in your eyeball. Like, no one, everyone's like, oh, it's hard, you're going to love them.
No, and you don't know what your reaction's going to be. You don't know what your reaction's going to be. But here's the kicker. Don't talk about what your reaction's going to be, because if you say it out loud, then you're a terrible parent.
Yeah, well, God forbid we're human.
God forbid you react in a way that you didn't anticipate, but now you talk about it in hopes to hopefully fix it, but you can't. But then we're told that we need to do better. But how are we supposed to know what to do better on if we're not allowed to talk about the cycles that we're supposed to break?
Cycle breaking is so difficult, because I grew up with a screamer of a mom. Like, my mom was a yeller. She yelled, she screamed, she was very reactive. She still is. Like, if I call her and like, Mom, she's like, what's going on? Like, she's a very reactive human. I am like that too. And I have to dig so deep to try and reverse that. And not that my mom was wrong in doing so. She probably had maybe a reactive mother or something in her past, triggered her reactions. I don't want to be a reactive mom. I don't want to even be a reactive wife to things. Like, it's very hard to, the mindset of trying to work through past traumas or triggers that certain things trigger certain people. Like, something that might trigger one person won't trigger me. So, like, it's so hard, because you are a product of your environment. And I find that, like, when I'm very reactive, my kids are reactive. They're saying that they're being curt or smart or condescending. And I'm like, whoa, they're learning this from me. Like, okay, I got to flip the switch, because I just want to raise good humans. I don't want to raise assholes.
I know. I mean, that was even us this weekend with Spencer. Spencer is 3-year-olds, man.
But you have okay. If you guys, I mean, obviously you guys watch Mary, all of her stories. I happen to be privy to Mary's close friends. And let me tell you, Spencer's a genius. So what's going to happen is, I feel like Cassidy's pretty smart too. The smarter the kid, the more challenging they are. Spencer
is, so Cassidy's a smart little cookie. She is creative. So she's all right brain. I think, what does they say? Like, right brain, left brain. She is right brain to a T. Like, she loves imagination play. She loves coloring. She loves drawing. The pictures that she does is great. She loves making up stories. Like, that is her. And she's great at it. And then Spencer is ABCs.
Oh my
ABCs God. And colors, letters, shapes. He's very fact-based, and like, you can tell that he's constantly always thinking about something, which someone brought up that he might have hyperlexia. which, and I was like, I looked it up and actually it sounds exactly like Spencer. I don't really know if there's anything to do about it.
Is it a memorization thing?
Yeah. It's like apparently they have a keen memory. They're usually really great spellers. And Spencer's really good at like, he knows how to spell like cat, dog. He knows how to spell his name. He knows how to spell tree. Like, yep, Blippi. He knows how to do all the colors. He memorizes things very well with spelling. And that's all he asks me these days. It's like, lamp starts with L. How do you spell lamp? Can you spell lamp for me? And I'll spell it for him. And then he'll memorize it and you can tell he's thinking. But he's a smart little cookie. However, he is a hothead and he has no patience at all. And also he's so obsessed with the ABCs, which honestly sometimes concerns me a little bit, that he doesn't want anyone to come near him. So he will like hit Cassidy if she comes near him. He'll push Haley if they come near him. And I don't.
He might have a little OCD, which I feel like more and more kids have.
I said that to Kev. I actually said that to Kev. I was like, I kind of wonder if he has anxiety a little bit.
You know, and kids have anxiety.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of wonder if that's because anxiety and OCD are hand in hand. I just wonder if he's doing and so obsessed with the ABCs and doing them in such a way as like a control thing.
Yeah. I know.
So,
I mean,
I don't know
how great, like you're such a good mom for even like recognizing certain things. Like there's so many parents that are oblivious to certain things, right? Like it's hard. Like, and also how crazy different are our children? Like you would think like, oh, they're raised in the same house. Nope. Different. Are you still there?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry. I lost you for a moment.
Okay. Oh no, you're good. You're good. My kids are, you're good. You're fine. Yeah. My kids are nuts. My kids are all crazy. And that's the thing. It's like, you just don't know how it's going to be, but Spencer is my hothead and he challenges me daily. And then you constantly are worried that you're messing him up. You're like, what's wrong with you? Like, what did I do? What did I do? Yeah. And that's even today. I mean, Cassidy, you saw my story. Cassidy threatened, she told me that she no longer loves me and she wants a new mommy. And I've heard this 10,000 times. So I just looked and I said, go, good, go. I opened the door for her and I was like, bye. And she walked straight down the street. She didn't stop. And I was like, oh shit. And my someone texted me and said like, you should have just let her go. Like I let my daughter go and she ended up sitting at like the curb at the end of the street.
You there? I'm losing you.
Can you hear me?
Sorry. I think hold on. All right, keep going.
Okay. Good. Okay. Yes. So she was, I don't know where it cut off, but she walked to the end of the street and someone said, you should just let her go and sit at the end of the curb and just let her pout. And I was like, I would, except people would call CPS on me.
I know. It's so
I was
different.
like, I can't risk it.
It is so different. Back in the 90s, my dad did that to my sister. She was spicy as fuck. And I know I talked about my sister before in here. She was just the spiciest friggin' habanero pepper. And one day she wasn't like getting ready quick enough, right? My dad's like, all right, we're leaving here. He peeled out of the driveway and like, I'm the middle child. So like, I want to fix everything. And I was like, are we going to go back for her? Like I was in hysterics. I think my sister was in shock that my parents actually left. And guess what? She didn't pull her bullshit again. Like, but then again, this is the 90s and you know, there was no like no one was, you know, it's so like, it's
my mom and dad. You know how fucked up my mom is because I think because of our history of trauma. Yeah. My mom and aunt, I think my aunt came out with my cousin who's like a year apart from me. Mm-hmm. And when we were kids, we went to, I think it was for Easter. And so we drove over to my sister's grave in the cemetery in our town to go pay our respects. And the whole cemetery is like a really old one. Yeah. So my cousin and I got out to go like look around and see like the other tombstones or headstones or whatever. And we're looking and my mom and my aunt get back in the car and they pretend to drive off without us in a cemetery. and they said that they'll never forget because we're in our Easter like dresses with our Easter bonnets on and we're trying to like keep them on our head while like sprinting after the car, screaming and crying and yelling. And they said that they were laughing their asses off. And I'm like, you guys are messed up.
Yeah, it's fucked up. What the fuck?
Now thinking about it, I actually think it's
because honestly, they brought the humor. Your mom might have been having like a tough day or your aunt, right? And They were like, fuck these kids. You
I
know
know,
what?
like,
Cheers to them. Cheers.
Yeah.
Because if you can't bring humor to stress, so like how I deal with stress is humor.
Yeah.
And
well, that's literally the key of parenting. If you need the absolute key, and not that we haven't mastered, but the key of not completely losing your shit.
Yeah, like listen, I've gone off the deep end a few times, but I mean, I try not to.
You need you need the ability to laugh out of chaos. You need the ability to find some sort of silver lining in humor, because if you can't laugh at it, you're going to, what is it?
You'll
laugh, you cry. Yeah, you'll cry. You'll just,
and honestly,
you don't want to do that.
Cry ever so often doesn't hurt. You know, like it doesn't hurt to cry. I cry a lot. I cry a lot because I always am like, am I doing the right thing? Am I a good mom? And I know that people say, if you're even questioning that, you already are a good mom. But, you know, there's certain things that validate me with motherhood. When someone's like, your kids are great. Wow, they're so well behaved. Okay, huge compliment, right? Or just like, hey, you're doing a good job. I was at Target the other day by myself. I was having myself a day. I was like, holy shit, I haven't been in Target by myself. Literally had like a 3-hour window where Bird was home with the baby. And I was like, hey, do you mind? He's like, go have fun. Like, that's what I love about him. He's like, go ahead, here, use a credit card, whatever. And I saw a mom with 3 kids, young. I'm talking 3 under 5. And she was struggling, and she doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? And we're in the card section, and our kids are like pulling out all the cards, right? So she's trying to get 2 of them back in the basket. She's got 1 like in the little kid area, like a little baby. And I looked at her and I said, you're doing a really great job. And she looked at me like, who the fuck are you? But even if she questioned it for a moment, like, why is this girl saying this to me? I'm sure she left there saying, wow, thank you. Like, because people have come up to me instead of, I could have said, wow, you have your hands full, right? Because you've gotten that before. I've gotten that before. And it feels like it's such an empty compliment. Like, yeah, I have my hands full. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
That's why I don't like it. I don't like it when if someone says it, then I don't mind it. But if you say it, then I get annoyed.
Yes. Like, yeah, I have my hands full and I want them full. I chose this life. But I was like, you know, you're doing such a good job. Your kids are so cute. Like, keep it up. And she looked at me like, thank you. But I hope she walked away and thought, thank you. Because I hope that she was boosted by that, because it is a compliment, because it's hard as fuck. And like, when I bring my all 3 out, it is stressful, but I do it because 1, I don't have a choice. Like, my husband's on shift. I have literally no choice but to bring my kids with me. But 2, like, I feel proud of myself when I actually come home and I'm like, everyone's in one piece. No one stole my kids. I feel good. Like, I'm accomplished. Like, I can do hard things. Like, do the hard things. Don't be afraid to live outside the box sometimes. I know there's a lot of women that don't leave their house with their kids. It's like a paralyzing anxiety.
Well, and I get it because I even in that, I mean, it's hard.
It's so hard, right? Why is it
You're amping yourself up. You're amping yourself up. Like, you're amping yourself up for 30 minutes to go for a 10-minute grocery store trip. Like, that's why it's like, I get it. It's so much easier to just stay in house. But every time I leave house, it's just like, oh, I feel so good. Like, I that, and you get reminded if you do it, and it might not be, again, let your kids be kids. Like, I feel like we go out and we give ourselves so much anxiety because we're so afraid that our kids are going to act like kids.
Yeah, they are allowed. They don't know the world. We are literally molding them.
Yeah. So like they could go out and they could cry, or they could scream in the store. They could
shit their pants. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Do something, but that's their kids. Like, no one is, if someone makes you feel like shit for it, shame on them. It has nothing to do with you. I've never encouraged anything nasty when being out and about, and I'm sure people have, but like, you go and you let your kids just do their thing, and the more you do it, the better it gets every single time. And I mean, I feel like my kids are pretty decent at getting out of the door now, and we don't get like too many tears. Like, when
it's like, all right, they know the drill.
Yeah, because they know, like, especially when we go to like Chick-fil-A's, like their new like home, because they love Chick-fil-A. They have it's like the only place in town that has a built-in playground to it, and they love it. And it's easy for me because I sit right next to the glass encased
I was gonna say, it's
room.
enclosed. All of the Chick-fil-A's, they have an enclosed, so your kids literally like they can't just like roam free. Yeah.
No, they're stuck in there, and you sit right next to it. I pick the booth, so I sit right there, and I watch them while I eat. and it's great. But there's some tears. But I told Spencer, I was like, because Spencer usually cries. I said, dude, if you cry, we can't come back. We're not coming back. But if you don't cry, we'll come back.
Exactly.
And so we've gotten to that zone. Doesn't always work, but then if it doesn't work, then he comes out kicking and screaming. And
I mean, I've literally
whatever.
done the whole football holds, like carry a child, sometimes both children underneath my armpits. Like, we got to go. And now what I do is, now they're older, they're 9 and 6. I'm like, listen, we're going here. And when I say it's time to leave, you're not going to give me a hard time. Repeat after me. And they're like, we're not going to give you a hard time. Do they give me a hard time? Fuck yes, they do. But they're getting better at it. I mean, when they were little, and you still have such littles, like the temper tantrums are, I mean, there's a lot of them. Like, they're still regulating.
Is Bryn starting to give you any yet?
Are you kidding? Yes.
Yeah.
Sass. We call her Sassy in this house. She will throw her, if I take, like today, she was like, had a battery in her hand. I was like, yeah, we can't play with that. I took it. It was like a tug of war because she's a little chub, and she cried and then threw herself to the ground, put her head on the cold tile and started crying. And I was like, oh, my boys really didn't do that too much. Like, they really didn't do that much. So I'm like, all right, with each child comes a different parenting style, because you have to parent each child differently. You have to tailor it to them. Although I try to be the same with them, it's so different because they are different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Haley.
Oh my God. I just want to
give us a run. She's giving me a run for my money. And she is like, I have a video because I recorded one when she was just born, and the audio was like, I'm so fucking scared right now. And I think the original text was like, when you realize that one day they will grow up and no longer be the sweet little angels. Yep. And I want to stitch it with the other videos I have, especially of her in the morning. She is the pickiest eater I have ever had out of all my kids. And my kids are picky eaters now, but she's the pickiest baby. Because I used to be able to get my kids to eat anything until they hit about like 2. Yep. And then game over. But with Haley, she doesn't want anything. So anything I put on her tray, like she'll eat some purees and then she'll be done. Yeah. But the moment I put like a blueberry muffin on her tray, smacks it right off. Yeah. And then if I put anything that she's not in the mood for, boom, she'll just like throw it. I just cleaned up all my walls because it's just covered. It's craziness. Look at this picture.
Like, I need one of those. I was watching one of my friends. She had this mat underneath her child's. I need one of those. Because
or you're just gonna. I mean, we have dogs. Look at this. Look, she threw her food all over the floor, all over Lucy.
Shit.
Look at her face. She's fake crying. She's pretending.
Tears, let me tell you,
to cry. She's a little pistol on.
Bryn's been a pill lately. I'm like, come on, girlfriend. She won't eat. She won't eat certain things that she used to eat. She won't eat them anymore. I'm like, what? What do you mean? And I'm very adventurous with her with food, because my other two were like, organic, no salt, no sugar. Yeah. And like, I was like, fuck this. This is my third kid. You're going to get what I have in the house. So.
Yep. Which is my life. Yeah.
It's interesting. With each child comes a new error, I feel like. Just like, what is
and again, it's a new learning curve. I feel like that's why it's like, we can boil it back to everything we've talked in this episode, but like your marriage, it's a learning curve. You got to kind of just every single time you bring home a baby too, it's not going to go back the same way.
It will never be the same. And that's why people that are like, oh, like it'll get easier. Nope.
No, it's just, it's like a different curve to the same road that you're on. It's just a different thing.
And it's a different challenge as a mother, as a spouse, as a relationship, because dads go through it too. But I always, like, Keith will be like, it's hard for me to hold on. I need a sip of wine. Hold on. He'll be like, it's hard for me too. But I'm like, it might be hard on you in certain ways, but like, you will never get the mental load of motherhood that I have, or that mothers have. Like, and there are some dads that really that they're stay-at-home dads, or like they do more. Maybe the dad is the default. And if you are a father listening and you can relate to this, like, kudos to you, but it's just different for the default parent, for the mother, because our worries are I feel like my husband's worries are short-term worries. Like, he's thinking about maybe tonight, right? Tomorrow. I'm thinking about fucking future. I think so far in advance and freak myself out and give myself anxiety. And I've had to talk myself off the ledge and say, Katie, that's 20 years from now. That's 10 years from now. Like, I think about all these things. So the mental load is sometimes so overwhelming, and I wish I could just, cut my brain off, but I can't. I don't know how.
No, that's the thing. It stops. You go through the rabbit hole daily. You just go down even a little bit further. The moment you start anything, I think about anything. Like Haley today, she took a 4-hour nap out of nowhere.
I saw your story.
Like 4 hours.
Acted the same way.
Lovely. But you can't enjoy anything.
You're like,
so I'm like, this is wonderful. Yeah, what's happening in you right now? Like something's wrong.
Whereas I would, if that happened,
What's going
I'd
on?
go to my husband and be like, oh my God, she took a 4-hour nap. And he'd be like, she's great. She's doing fine. She's growing. Like, it's that, the part of our brain that like we have to, I think it's preparation. Like we're trying to prepare ourselves for the next step. And the thing about motherhood is that you can never prepare yourself for anything because it's literally fucking chaos 24/7, and it's beautiful chaos, and it's different for every person, but it's wild. It's a wild ride.
I think it is. It's preparing ourselves because I think if you think of the instinct portion of motherhood, like we constantly are protecting our young. So we constantly are having to anticipate the next move and how to it goes into hyperdrive. And I think that's something we just don't, I think we forget about like the animal portion.
It's very animalistic, and that is what we are. I mean, it's a maternal instinct, right? That maternal instinct, like you don't think that apes have that horses, that cow, like, it's innate in us as mothers to care for our young. I mean, it's a tale as old as time, and I will die on the hill for my kids. Like there will never be a day that you will see me never back my kids up, never support them. I will never not support them because it is my duty and it's my honor to be their mother. It is a true honor to have children. There's so many women struggling, and I'm an ultrasound tech, if some of you guys know that already. But like I have seen so many women struggle to get pregnant and people that don't have kids that want kids. So although some people might listen or follow us and say, wow, like they complain or, they complain a lot about motherhood. It's a happy complaint. And sometimes it's not so happy, but we're still always grateful. I can say, fuck these kids in the same breath saying, I love them. I would do anything for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's the thing. You have to be able, it's not even so much complaining. It's just, it's real life. I don't even think it's complaining. I think it's just airing the truth. Like it's just airing the honesty. So it's not anything where we're like, oh God, it's just like, this is honest. That's just all it is. It's not anything more than that. You don't have to pour anything into it. And anything that does get poured into it is coming from, I talked about this on the episode that came out today. It's like the lens that someone's viewing things through. Like that's coming from you. That's not coming from me type of thing. So it's
100%.
We're all viewing
I think that
different things based off.
These type of conversations should be had. And this is why I think you launching this podcast is great, because someone's going to listen to this and it's going to resonate with them and they're going to understand. And maybe they're going to say, wow, like I needed to hear this today. I needed to hear that, it's hard. It's beautiful. It's beautiful chaos. It's honestly, I mean, it's just amazing. I can't believe that I have 3 children and that they're surviving every day and I'm surviving, right? My marriage is surviving. Like, how do we survive? You forge forward because it's all we can do. And honestly, like as long as I go to bed at night and I say to myself, like, I'm loved, I am fulfilled, I have an abundance of love in my life. Like, and as long as I'm having open conversations and talking to others about struggles in life, and it's not just children, but marriage, like, and your personal, like, health, mental health too. It's all so important to wrap it all into one. It's like this big, I think of like Charlie Brown with like who's that character with like all the dirt around it? Like sometimes I feel like Linus, it's like filthy with the blanket behind him. I'm like, I am fucking Linus, right? But the cloud of just like craziness. But there, if you are in a hard season, it doesn't last, and you'll have many of those seasons. Those seasons come and go.
Yeah, you'll have. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be forever. That's
forever. Like my mom
part.
is like, you're 38, and you don't think that I don't worry or want to. She still parents me, like the pool fence. She's like, when you got that motherfucking pool fence up, I'm going to call the police on you. I'm like, all right, mom, like. Okay, Mom, I'm an adult. I know. But she's not wrong. I mean, my mother is very rarely wrong, which is,
Yeah, I know.
you know, very on
don't you
brand
hate that
for her.
sometimes?
So
I know, right? Yeah. But all right. Well, we're at 55
Yes.
minutes, which I think
it is perfect. I hope someone
that
took
way-
a nice long walk or listened to this on their way to work.
Yeah. Did something for you, hopefully.
You know, some people say I like to listen, like, because when I'm on, you know, whatever, like my followers say, I like to listen to the podcast when you're on with Mary, when I'm like doing my laundry or like cleaning my house. Like they put their ear pods in and like they just kind of zone out, which is friggin' awesome. So, well, I can't wait to be back on with you, Mary. I mean, we're gonna get spicy here. We're easing into season 2, Katie's Corner with Mary. I know. I mean, I know you and I can get vulgar as fuck. Although Mary and I are talking about possibly meeting up IRL, which means in real life.
Yeah. Are you coming up?
I will be in the Northeast in the summer, and I'm like, I'm determined to make this happen.
Yeah, just let me know because I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here. Depends on when, but
I'll
I'll
give
be
you the
here.
biggest damn hug ever.
We'll make it. I know, right? We'll have fun. But yeah, no. So, well, don't worry, guys. We'll ease into it, but we'll gauge next time. I'm trying to think. So in 2 more weeks, you'll hear Katie. It's every other week. We'll talk about something good.
Yeah,
we'll do rapid fire.
Rapid fire questions are great because your followers are hilarious. Like what you get. Obviously, you have way more of an audience, but they definitely let you know what they want to hear, and it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. We'll do rapid fire, and then we'll kind of just like go through that. We'll have fun.
It's always fun with you, Mary Hendricks. Thank you for having me on.
I know we're gonna have. Of course. Oh, we'll have to talk about edibles.
Oh, that is yes, we do.
That's what we're going to talk about. That's what we'll talk about next.
Yes, I'm ready.
Next time.
Woohoo, girlfriend! All right. On that note, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Woohoo! All right.
Toodaloo, girls and guys.
Yeah. Another episode down and way more to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to share it with others and post about it on your own social media or leave a rating and review. I cannot tell you how helpful and how appreciated those things are for me. Of course, to catch all the latest from me, you can follow me over on Instagram at The Very Merry Life, over on TikTok, The Very Merry Life. And even if you wanted to check out my monthly newsletter, you can do so by subscribing over at theverymerrylife.com. I'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more honest, raw, real chit chat. I have some amazing moms lined up coming on, and shit's going to get fun. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be good.